are you? I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily, and this is my channel, Em Reads. And par for the course for me lately, it feels like I literally just filmed this whole video and got up to turn my camera off, and it wasn't on. It wasn't even on. So here we are again. Yeah, and hopefully this time will be okay too. But I just wanted to sit and chat with y'all for a while. I feel like I've not been as present on here as I've wanted to be for a variety of circumstances, and yeah, I just needed to be able to get back in the swing of things, and I felt like this might be the easiest way for me to do it. But a lot of y'all know I was earlier in October, the first half of October, I was gone for a significant period of time on a couple trips. And you know, even when you're allowed to take vacation and have PTO to spend and things like that, sometimes when you come back to work, it almost feels like it wasn't worth it to go, because there's so much to catch up on and so many things to go over and get back in the swing of, and it just, sometimes it makes it feel like the vacation wasn't worth it, you know? Does anybody else feel like that? I don't know. And I still worked while I was gone too, some, you know, but I don't know. I feel like it took me longer to get back in the swing of things and get back in the home routines and get things reordered than I expected it to. And then I kind of fell into a bit of a reading slump, it felt like, and so just, I didn't have the time I thought I would, and my reading wasn't as good, and yeah, I don't know. The second half of October just wasn't all that great, and but we're coming out of it, and it's great. I did some things this weekend that I felt like helped get me back in a more restored state. I spent some time just, getting some meals prepped and doing some home remedy stuff that kind of helped me and my husband knock out this cold we felt like we were starting to come down with. And I tried to get back in my workout routine a little bit better, and I started rewatching the Lord of the Rings films again, which is always bound to put me in a good mood. So I just kind of try to spend some time this weekend doing some things like that, and I feel like it's really helped kind of get me back on track a little bit in those areas, and hopefully this video will help get me back on track in terms of BookTube. But before I talk about anything else, I first need to talk about Dr. No-Vember, which has officially started now. Dr. No-Vember is a reading event created by Mark at Book Time with Elvis, and I'll list all the other co-hosts down below as well. But it is a month dedicated to reading spy fiction or nonfiction. And there is a group read, which is The Quiet American by Graham Greene. I actually read this earlier this year and loved it. It was a great read. Even if this is the first time you're hearing about Dr. No-Vember, you still have plenty of time to read this. I think it's only like a little over 200 pages, maybe, or even a little less than 200 pages. So perfectly doable to read. It's an easy read in the sense that you can get through, but there's a lot to think about and dive into. There's a Discord server where some people are already starting to discuss this, and that's really great. But so I encourage everyone to maybe think about picking that up and reading it with us. And if you don't want to read that, pick up some other spy fiction that you want. A lot of the other co-hosts have created TBR and Pile of Possibilities videos with all kinds of options for you. But if you wanted to continue with the Graham Greene theme, he has other espionage novels, such as the Confidential Agent, Our Man in Havana, The Human Factor. I think The Ministry of Fear might be an espionage novel as well, but he has several others. But a couple of the other co-hosts and I are actually going to be reading The Spy Who Came In From the Cold as well by John Le Carré. Shamefully, I have not read any John Le Carré yet, and I just felt like it would be irresponsible of me to let Dr. No-Vember pass by without reading The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. So that felt like my own personal required reading, and I'm really excited to start this later this week. So I hope you will join us for Dr. No-Vember and join the Discord server. I believe there will be a live, probably hosted on Mark's channel, this coming Saturday to start the discussion of The Quiet American. So be on the lookout for that as well. But as far as other reading that's been going on, obviously Victober has closed out, and I do want to do a more dedicated Victober wrap-up video, which I'll probably try to do later this week. But the first book I read for Victober, The Warden by Anthony Trollope, was great, and I do still plan on doing a dedicated video just on that book and one particular way that I ended up looking at it. But after that, I started reading Far From the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy, and I'll admit that I've struggled with this. And part of it, Thomas Hardy may not be for me. But so the only other Hardy that I've read was Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and I read that in high school, so that was quite a long time ago, and I'm prepared, like 100% to say, like, I probably just didn't have the maturity that I needed to appreciate that novel at that time, so I wanted to give Hardy another shot, and I do still want to give Tess another shot too at some point, but I don't really remember what I felt about Hardy's prose in Tess, but I remember that I felt like the story was really melodramatic and over the top. There was just so much trauma, and I think Tess, for me, definitely deserves a reread to kind of reshape my mind around it, I think. But so I wanted to try another Hardy and to give him another shot. And so I picked Far From the Madding Crowd because I knew a lot of other people enjoyed that one from him. And I knew there was a movie adaptation that I kind of wanted to watch, but I wanted to read it first. And I don't know, I've struggled with it. I don't really know that I get on with Hardy's prose, at least in this novel. It just feels a little superfluous and over the top. Some of his descriptions are just, I'm fine with some poetic language and very descriptive prose. That doesn't bother me, but just some of the ways that he goes about his descriptions just feels, I don't know, like really dramatic to me when it doesn't need to be. And it also feels kind of inconsistent. Like sometimes it just feels like it comes out of nowhere and the rest of it doesn't fit. I don't know. Am I the only one that feels that way? Maybe. I did start listening to this on audiobook kind of partway through, and that helped a little bit. But I also just don't know that I like Bathsheba. There's plenty of things to like about her. She's, trying to take initiative and run this farm and step up and do all these things that women wouldn't normally do at that time, and all that's wonderful, but she's so vain, and I just don't think I like her personality. And she doesn't seem to want to take responsibility for any of the way that her actions affect other people. And I don't know. And just as the storyline goes on, it just feels like it gets more dramatic and dark. And I don't know. It just wasn't, maybe this wasn't quite what I wanted right now. I'm very prepared to say that perhaps I would like this better if I'd read it at a different time, when I wasn't already just kind of dealing with a lot of other personal life things, and I maybe couldn't appreciate this the way that I normally would. Sorry for these sirens going by. Okay, sorry. So I'm perfectly willing to say that I should maybe give this another chance, test another chance. Is there another Hardy that would be better for me? Let me know. I'm not quite ready to write Hardy off, but I'll be cautious in reading another of his right now. So I don't know. That's where I am on that. But I mean, the rest of my Victober reading has been great. Wuthering Heights has been wonderful. And I've also been reading The Princess and the Goblin by George MacDonald, which has been great and fun. And it's always nice to pick up like some children's literature. But to kind of help pull me out of my reading slump a little bit that Thomas Hardy put me in, I did start my buddy read with Catherine at the Literary Latte, which is Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. This has been really enjoyable so far. It just drops you straight into the action, and Louis starts telling his story kind of without much context other than he's going to tell how he became a vampire and what happened after. And that's kind of really the only setup you get at the beginning of this, which you wouldn't necessarily think works all that well, but it does. I'll be really interested to see how the plot line of this goes and differs from the AMC TV adaptation, which is where any familiarity I have with this novel comes, is because I've watched that show, but I know they took some liberties with the book, obviously, but from what I understand, they've been rather true to the spirit of Anne Rice and the novel, even if not the explicit plot. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But so far, I've enjoyed it. And the other thing that I've gone to, which probably won't come as a surprise to many, is in the evenings before bed, I've been reading some of Wendell Berry's essays from The World Ending Fire, just kind of not necessarily doing a straight read through of these, but I am reading all of them, but I am kind of jumping around a little bit. But I've always enjoyed Berry's writing and what he writes about, so this has just been a nice little respite as well. But I hope everyone else's reading has been going well, and I hope everyone else's Victober closed out with good books. And I think November is going to shape up to be good between Dr. No-Vember. I'm also about to start the Cider House Rules with that read along that's going on. Most people have already started it already, but I probably will start it just a little bit later this week. And then what else is going on in November? Well, I'll finish my buddy read with Catherine. And yeah, I think it's just going to be good. I have several other books that are on my TBR that I'm excited to get to as well. But honestly, I think the other thing I'm going to do to kind of get me back on track a bit and perk me up and maybe get things back into a better state over here is I think I'm just going to go ahead and decorate for Christmas. It's rather early for me to decorate for Christmas, but I just think getting some of that sparkle going on around the house would do us some good here. Normally I am very strict, very adamant about waiting until after Thanksgiving to decorate for Christmas. Thanksgiving is personally my favorite holiday for varying reasons. And I mean, I love Christmas, but Thanksgiving is my personal favorite. And I've always been hardlined about the fact that I will not decorate for Christmas until after Thanksgiving. But last year, I put up my upstairs tree before Thanksgiving, and maybe a little garland too, but I don't know. This year I think I kind of want to just go ahead and put it all up. I probably won't do it all in like one weekend or anything. I'll kind of do it piecemeal probably, but I want to go ahead and get some big stuff up, I think. Now so the way we do it at our house, you know, I mean, some people go all out on Christmas decorations, and I'm not there, but we do have a decent bit. But upstairs, I have a fake tree that I put up, but downstairs where I am here, we get a real tree that's by the fireplace, and that's where we do Christmas morning and all of that kind of stuff. So that tree we never get until after Thanksgiving for sure, because we need it to last until Christmas and not just drop all of its needles before we get there. So that part will wait until after Thanksgiving, but the rest of it, I really just want to go ahead and get up. I think doing a little bit of a good deep clean and putting up some Christmas ornaments will just, I don't know. I think it'll just bring back a little bit of the life, a little bit of the luster, a little bit of the energy that I feel like I've kind of been lacking. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna do it. When do y'all put up your Christmas decorations? There's no right or wrong way to do it, in my opinion, you know, but I don't know. This year, I think I'm just gonna do it earlier than I ever have. I don't know that I'll make that a yearly thing, but this year, I think that's just what I want to do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm just appreciative of all of you who show up here to listen to me ramble and talk about these random things. But I'm very thankful for all of y'all that are here, that show up in the comments and talk with me and let me have conversations with y'all about everything. And yeah, I'm just really appreciative of all of y'all. So thank you for letting me be here and ramble on, but I will talk to all of y'all again soon. Thanks. Bye.